Look, we did a lot. We did a lot of research for this movie, and you know, a lot of it was with Jack about paleontology and dinosaurs, and a lot of it was about animals on our planet right now, because we wanted to make a movie that could be about our relationship with animals and the way that we treat them and the way that we do put them behind bars, and we use them in agriculture and in medicine and in war, and certainly two of those four ideas we utilize in this movie. So the idea of an animal that's raised in captivity, who doesn't know its mother, has in this case eaten its sibling, and therefore has a bit of a psychological issue and goes on a killing spree, was something that we did think a lot about, and it wasn't specifically just that. There have been other circumstances of animals breaking out. A tiger, for example, breaking out of captivity, and that tiger had never seen another tiger, or really another animal, and it became a serial killer and just killed everything that moved. And we thought that was a fascinating idea, and like a lot of things, we thought we could attribute these animalistic tendencies to dinosaurs.
Tim, I want to talk about the visual effects. The first film was obviously a landmark, not just for what Stan Winston did animatronically, and we'll get to that, but in terms of what ILM was able to do and what visual effects were able to do. Are there shots in this movie that you wouldn't have been able to pull off 3 years ago, 4 years ago?
There are a lot of shots, I'd say, that we couldn't do, 4 years ago. The creature work on this, we modeled these dinosaurs with full skeletons in them. They have muscle structures on them. They have skin. All of these things are firing and moving like a real animal would. We applied some new technologies such as motion capture for the raptors. And we're actually publishing some papers, and there's going to be some papers at SIGGRAPH this year on some of our retargeting techniques. We actually cast 4 people at ILM as the 4 raptors. So anytime that we needed, some action for Blue, we would bring that person down to the motion capture stage. They would suit up.
Suit up meaning put on
a motion capture suit, and we actually had a backpack that had a tail on it that they would act, and we would, in real time, be able to retarget their performance right onto the raptor, so we could actually see it as the raptor rather than the person.
Signing onto a film like this, you never really know how a filmmaker is going to handle something like this technically, because, this is the amount of invention that's required on set in order to do a film like this is profound, and new things are being tried out constantly, and so there's no kind of rote way to handle, a filming when you know that a lot of it is going to ultimately need to be done in post. Some incredible tools that Colin provided all of us is first and foremost, the environments were real. So this wasn't us shooting in a stage, in a green screen, just kind of being like, it wasn't that at all. It was us in the environment, in the jungle, in heels, in the jungle, and it was us actually shooting in a park that had been built in New Orleans. There was an abandoned Six Flags park that we took over and built Jurassic World. So our environment was very real. And then there were actors performing the roles of the raptors. So we were responding to real performances. And we worked with the animatronic dinosaur early on. And I'll just give you an indication of how real the animatronic dinosaur was. It's really kind of emotional thing that happened, which is that Michael Crichton passed away very, 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 very suddenly. And his family didn't have a lot of time to prepare, and his wife was 8 months pregnant when he passed away. And so his son, John Michael, never met his father. And I know his wife and a little bit, and I've just always heard stories about John Michael and how extraordinary he is. But it's just it's an unthinkable tragedy to never meet your father. So I knew they were planning a visit to come to set. I didn't know what day. And then I come to set the day that we're working with the animatronic dinosaur, and that's the day that they show up. And John Michael goes up to this dinosaur that is so lifelike. There are so many puppeteers there operating this machine. It is chillingly real. And John Michael went up and looked at the Apatosaurus and turned to his mom and he goes, "Mom, it's a real dinosaur." And it killed me because, this is the gift that his father has given all of us. And this is the gift that he's now given his son, because this never would have been in existence without his story. And so anyway, it was just we had experiences like with the animatronic dinosaur that felt so real. We were in a real environment. There were actors. It felt so real, and it took such effort on their part to give that to all of us.
The most important thing really was the Indominus, and we gave him a lot of liberty. and I think the coolest thing about this is when we started Jurassic Park 1, the first one, we didn't know at that time whether we could get DNA from a dinosaur, and we tried, and we failed. So we know now that we probably can never make Jurassic Park the way Jurassic Park was made. But when it comes to Indominus Rex, we actually make transgenic animals now. So Jurassic World is actually more accurate than the premise of Jurassic Park.
Do we want to know where those animals are?
Jack, tell them about the chicken.
Well, the chicken's a whole different story. So, yeah, well, we're actually trying to make a dinosaur. Birds are the descendants of dinosaurs, right. And so we are actually trying to retro-engineer a bird back to a dinosaur in real life.
I hope it's on a very distant island.
We're not going to let Colin get close to it.
I think the movie's suggesting that they're a lot smarter than we give them credit for. Is that actually accurate as well?
That is, it's a paper that's actually in process.
Okay. Your next paper.
And it turns out dinosaurs actually have a much larger brain than people have known, and we've actually known it for a long time, but as weird as it sounds, and you've heard it before, dinosaurs actually have their brain in two parts. They have cranial brain and they have a pelvic brain, and if you add the volume of them up, they actually have a brain-to-body ratio similar to most mammals.
How important and how did you go about creating what these dinosaurs sound like? Because it's a performance unto itself.
Well, I wish we had Al and some of the guys from Skywalker Sound, because they're the professionals in that area. But there is a new roar for the Indominus Rex that utilizes a howler monkey, and I believe there's some walrus in it, and there's all kinds of different new sounds. And each of these roars historically, and if any of you have seen any of the stuff on how Jurassic Park was done there, it's not just finding a specific animal, it's one recording that was made of that animal on a specific day, and you can't get it to do it again. There was a sound that a baby elephant made, I believe in the first Jurassic Park, that was incorporated into the T-Rex, and I think Ben Burt just got it, and they loved it, and they said, oh, go get a bunch more of those, and he could never get another one. And same thing happened, I think, with the walrus sound that we had on this. Pete Horner and Al Nelson, who are our two lead guys up there, had captured this sound, and they've learned by now that once you have it, that was it. It was some strange noise that was made, and they become extraordinarily adept at working all of these noises together, all these sounds together into something that's completely new.
How does it feel to have gone on this journey on Jurassic Park over so many years and have brought this new dinosaur forth?
It's an incredible feeling, obviously thrilling, really, because I was a little bit part of the first Jurassic Park and watched that become what it did, but to sort of now introduce Jurassic World to a whole new generation, and that's been the most fun for me, is to, we had a benefit at Jack's, for Jack's Museum, Museum of the Rockies. If you're in Bozeman, Montana, please visit last Wednesday. And I was so excited to see as many kids in the audience as adults, and it played for both. So to be part of that and to be able to bring this now to a whole new generation and bring the dinosaurs back has been a thrill.
And when in the very first conversation that we had, is I didn't want to make a fan film. I didn't want to make something that was derivative because it's so iconic, because we all know that movie so well, and yet it does have a very specific cinematic language to it, and it has a look and a feel that it gives you. So I wanted to create the feeling of Jurassic Park without actually recreating Jurassic Park. I wanted to, instead of following in Steven's footsteps, to create a new set of footsteps to the right and maybe slightly respectfully behind.